Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. All right, we're the sons of Thunder Israelites. It's our heart's prayer and desire that all Israel be saved. All right, first and foremost, we want to give all honor and glory to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua for allowing us to do another class on the Thursday Night Live. All right, I'm your brother Judah.
Captain Yonatan.
And Soldier Haran.
All right, you already know what it is, man. Like the video when you enter the building, Baba Kashai. You should be subscribed to all of our channels. All right, the channel that you're on right now, the North Carolina channel, the San Francisco channel, as well as the Alabama channel. Be on the lookout for other channels that'll be coming soon. All right, you already know if you want to be a member of Sons of Thunder Israelites, we just brought some good brothers in, man. All right, some good soldiers in. You want to be a part of the Sons of Thunder Israelites and what we got going on, send an email to Sons of Thunder Israelites at gmail.com. Once again, Sons of Thunder Israelites at gmail.com. All right, so let's shout out some people in the crowd. All right, Sister Joan Gilchrist, shalom, sis. Soldier Nah, Soldier Holy Yasha Allah, shalom, King. All right, Abayanam, Salaki, if I butchered your name, shalom, shalom. Soldier Yawasab.
Hey.
Soldier West, shalom. All right, I hope all the new soldiers got soldier in front of you. I wanna be able to shout y'all out. The sister with the Hebrew name that I can't pronounce, don't hang me, sis. All right, Sister Laretha, shalom. Jezreel 12, Soldier Secure, shalom to you both. All right, Aisha Thompson, shalom. King T, shalom. All right, Soldier Sanctuary, shalom. Soldier Kevon, shalom. Soldier Kawal, shalom. Don't mind some of these names, man. These brothers, they waiting on their Hebrew name, man. Stephen, shalom. All right. And Salvi, shalom, shalom. All right, all shalom. All right, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. All right, let's get some people in the building, man. Let's go ahead and share. If you've already liked the video, put a 7 in the chat. Put a 7 in the chat if you've already liked the video. All right, today's class is called Economic Warfare, Engineering Israelite Empowerment. Hey, join the discussion. Show the discussion. All right, Israel, shalom, shalom. All right. Hey, man, the brother Jonathan has a class for you. We're going to go into some things. All right, just don't be passive and sitting and just watching. All right, join the conversation. We'll bring your comments up, you know what I'm saying, as we see them, as it pertains to the class. And with that, I will yield to the brother.
Hey, God, all praises, all praises. All right. Hey, look, man, first of all, give it all honor and glory and praise to the Most High, man. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, the stuff that's been going on in the media has been very interesting, to say the least. And just as a disclaimer, we stand with the brother Kanye. I'm not going to go into Kanye today at all, but we stand with that brother. But some of the stuff he's saying is mad off. We all know that, right? Because he's still learning, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's still coming in. Most High willing, we start seeing him with fringes and things like that. But what I want to focus on is the fact that notice that the white media has begun to use their power, the power that they have and that they can demonstrate they have begun to use that power to take money out of that man's pocket, right? Yeah. Hey, they even taking money out of their own pocket. We're going to get into that too. But that's a power that you can only have when you work together on a certain level. What we seeing right now is they're saying that it's illegal to have a monopoly in the United States and all these types of things. But they have to have some type of monopoly going on. They've monopolized the media market because everybody moving in concert with one another to cancel this man and to destroy his business assets, right? And his investments. So we got to take these things and learn from them. And we got to learn how to empower ourselves, right? We should have a network. I talk about this all the time. We should have a network where I go to this brother, he the barber. And I go to that brother, he the mechanic. And then this brother over here, he's an author and he's into publishing. And then this brother over here, he's into marketing. We should have a network like that around us.
Our money circulate.
And we should deal with the network. Go ahead.
No, I'm saying our money circulate.
Correct. And on top of that, it provides us a certain level of power, right? So that when a community attacks us, as they've been doing for the past 500 years, we can enforce action upon them the same way they doing to the brother Kanye West.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's the power you get from acting in a community mindset. Right? Now, we're going to go into this a little bit. Some of this comes back into economics and sociology and things like that. So it's going to be a little high level today, but we're going to get into the scriptures towards the end, all right? I want to show y'all this video. You can go ahead and bring that one up. And this brother is going to explain to you on an academic level what's going on in the music industry. Then we're going to take a look at the music industry itself and the track record that it has in exploiting our people. And then we're going to flip that and learn how we can learn from it and how we can use that as Israelites to empower ourselves. All right? Y'all hit a 7 in the chat if you can hear the video when it starts. We can't hear it. Because you muted.
Yeah, that was me. That was on me. Salaki. Let's go.
Talk about current day with Kanye West. I don't know if you've been following, what's been going on with him and being dropped by a lot of different companies. But they labeled him anti-Semitic, as they have a lot of Black scholars over the last, 20, 30 years. What's your take on the whole situation?
First of all, I don't think Brother Kanye is anti-Semitic. He made a criticism. Some may think it's harsh, but history will erase the mystery. All those who want to judge Kanye, study the history of the music industry. Study the history of the music industry. Just started from the 1940s to the present, and see who's been making the billions upon billions of dollars off of the Black artists. What ethnic group? What community? Who control and own most of the record labels from the 1940s to the present day? Who is controlling most of the publishing from the 1940s to the present day? You heard Michael Jackson calling some people out before Michael was murdered. He was trying to tell you. Sam Cooke was calling him out before Sam was murdered. He was trying to tell us way back then, 1964. But we haven't been listening because we didn't have enough people in this thing to really see. I talked to Brother Tupac, the youngster, 2 days before he was killed. And he told me that him and them, I don't have to make this up, because anybody know me, I know that family, And my children knew him well, and he knew me well. And we were talking. He had called to talk to one of my children. And then I was handing the phone to Dad, Pop wanted to talk to you. So I was beating him up for something else, the kind of thing the uncles and fathers do with behavior. And then he said he wanted to talk. And I said, okay. He said, I'll be in New York next week. I'm down in Vegas now. We're going through the Spike thing. I said, okay, cool. He said, but I want you to know that the rift between me and Biggie, that ain't real. He said, they're creating that. He said, that ain't real. But I don't think they realized how serious it was. But here's the next thing he said to me. He said, Prof, what me and Biggie want to do is take control of distribution of rap music. I said, oh boy, do you know what you're going up against? Do you understand the organized criminal networks you're going up against and the two major ethnic groups that run it? He said, yeah, we do. I said, well, you and Biggie can't do no shit like this. He said, we're not alone. Yeah.
Hey, excuse the language, but he being real. All right, let's get past the language and listen to the message.
Organizing other young rappers. And he was dead within 48 hours of that conversation I had with him. A couple of other brothers were murdered in New Jersey. One of his cousin, another young rapper, who was, you all know their names better than me. I'm old, I don't remember everything. But Tupac wasn't the only one that was killed around that issue.
Hey, now pause it real quick. I want to pause it, and I want to show y'all something, right? And we're gonna let the brother keep speaking, But I'm gonna show you something. They don't care if you get a couple of dollars. A couple of dollars don't change nothing. What they care about is you taking control of the machine that creates the dollars. You taking control of the machine that blocks them from getting those dollars. Exactly. The mighty brother Sakor said Fatal and Gaddafi, right? If y'all heard about Muammar Gaddafi, right, out in Libya, the same thing happened. I don't want to say I hate James Small, right? So, but we dealing with the fact that it's red tape around certain things. You can deal with certain things, but once you cross this red tape, now you're in dangerous territory, right? And so when we're gonna actually look at it today, I'm gonna show you on the screen. We're gonna trace the money back. I think I did this one time before in the class, but we're gonna trace the money back. And we're gonna see where the money lands, and we're gonna see who's in these top positions. And you can follow the dollars. The same people who are funding the media moguls like Disney and the same people who are invested in those corporations are also invested in the music industry, the biggest corporations in the music industry. And those same corporations are heavily invested in private prisons, right? So this is a big collusion. This is 83 all over again. All right. So you can go ahead and hit play on that.
Toomey was the first one that told me, God bless his soul, about something called the Columbia study. Columbia Record paid Harvard University, I think in the 50s or late 60s or something, to study how to control the music industry, because they were having so many conflicts with black folks because they had them in such draconian contracts. People were ready to shoot some people. Mm-hmm. And so the study that came out of Harvard University that was paid for by Columbia Record said, if you control distribution, you can let them have their labels, you can give them anything else they want, but control distribution. From there, you control the industry. Okay? Kanye understands this. Mm-hmm. And they move against Kanye because they looked up and said, oh, shit. He has the power of influence beyond anyone in that industry, and he has the courage to use that influence. And they moved to take it away from him. Now, Kanye is not a fool. Now, this kid may do some things that we don't like. All of us, but I do some stuff y'all may not like either, But you remember a month or so ago, he said he wanted to get out of those contracts, didn't he?
Yes, sir.
He did. But if he had pulled out of those contracts, he'd lost all his money, wouldn't he? He would have. I don't know what he did to make them pull out of the contract, but I call it genius.
Pause that.
Did you hear me?
Pause that. See, that's the thing. We got to think about it like this. This is a chess move. This is a guy who runs around telling you, hey, we being trapped by this, we being trapped by that. People in high places that won't let me do X, Y, and Z. So of course, there are things in place that's gonna lock him in. Who's really making the most money off of this exchange? Kanye West was not really making no. He even came out in the interview and said he wasn't making no money from the Balenciaga deal at all. He said that he put his own money into the Balenciaga deal. So that was really a status thing. Like, yo, let me put my name on this. That'll help me push my status up. The Adidas deal, and I'm going to let the brother Aharon go in on this, but the Adidas deal, it hurt both parties. When they pulled out, it hurt Kanye, but it also hurt Adidas. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? We're going to pull the facts up on that real quick.
You want me to do it right now?
Yeah, Khan, go ahead.
You want me to share my screen and show it?
Yeah, if you have the ability to do so.
All right.
Yeah, because they trying to make it seem like he just being reckless out here and, oh man, he's sick and this, that, and the third. Meanwhile, this man rose to the status of one of the richest black people You know what I mean? Like black, but one of the richest so-called black people the United States has ever seen. The richest that the United States has ever seen. But meanwhile, he mad though. He crazy. And also, check this out. If he was worth $11 billion,
Am I sharing?
no, not yet. I don't see nothing. But if he was worth $11 billion, how pulling out of that Adidas contract automatically drop him down to 400 million? Like, I'm confused. So you mean to tell me that Adidas contract, that Adidas deal was worth $11 billion, man?
Right.
Con, go ahead, King.
And then also to add to your point, so all it takes is 1 billion to be a billionaire. If he's worth 11, you telling me he let them people control over 90% of his money?
That don't even make sense.
Right. All right. So you can see the screen, right?
Yep.
All right. So this is Adidas stock, right? As of today. And right now, as of today, the 27th, the stock is $49.40, right? Now, we know for proof, Kanye signed with Adidas in 2016, okay? So the last time it was this low, their stock price was this low was, let me find it. It's in January. It was January. Boom, right there, January 22nd, 2016. Dang, my mouse is too sensitive. But literally a week into 2016, you get it, is the last time that they were this low, right? And boom, on the rise as Yeezy becoming more popular, even through the dip, it had a high. But Adidas has never been this high, and immediately they plummeted as soon as they had problems. Boom, they plummeted. Now worse, and they're going down. And so like I don't want Jonathan was saying, they're being hurt by this and the decisions that they making. Now, granted, now this is they've been kind of going down for a while, but they definitely are on the downturn now, having dropped Kanye.
Correct. That's right. And that goes to show you what we about to make a point on this very next point, right? The brother dropped off on accident, so he'll be right back. But that goes to show you the point that I'm gonna make here in a couple of seconds, all right? And I gotta show you a couple of things, so y'all bear with us. We're gonna come back to that video in a moment. But look at this, what you see on the screen, right? So this is kind of what he was what the brother was talking about, man. So in the 60s, Harvard University partnered with Columbia Records. Now we're gonna deal with the whole Columbia Records thing too, because that's another talking point of mine. But we're gonna find out who Columbia Records is, and we're gonna break that down too. Okay. But in the 60s, Harvard University did a study with in 1972. There we go. 1972. It says the story begins when a few enterprising master's students at the Harvard Business School prepared a study commissioned by one of Columbia's execs, detailing how the Columbia Records Group could better integrate and then largely independent Black music industry into the mix. Now, we bring this out all the time. Integration has never been a good thing for our people. Integration in the music industry was not good because we ended up getting exploited by white record executives. And this is the problem. We didn't have a fair shake on exploiting them back. They would never allow that to happen. And if we was somehow able to underhandedly exploit their music and get their masters, they would have just came and shot the record label up. Mm-hmm. They would have burnt the whole city down. We know this, right? But what they did was they came in, they did a study, and they got Harvard. And Harvard is another institution that does a lot of questionable things. You go into the history. Harvard is not for Black people, all right? So Harvard partners with Columbia Records, and let's see what they said. Now, this is the actual. You can buy the book, all right? What you're looking at right here is a screenshot of the book on Goodreads. So you can buy the book. It says the Harvard Report, a study of soul music environment prepared for Columbia Records Group. Right? Now look at this. The language that the Harvard report uses to describe the value of indie soul labels is undisputable. These small independents could provide a source of product in the form of hot masters. So they already saying it from the outset, we after the masters. It says talent which could have national potential, experienced personnel in the areas of promotion and production, and serve as a source of captive independent producers. I don't know why they chose to use the word captive, but to me, that's about as open as you can get.
Okay.
Right? Look at this. Davis. Now, who we talking about? Now, and we're gonna slow down. I'm gonna go back and look at this real quick. Well, hold on. Let me show you who we talking about. And you already know his name. You've heard his name before.
Clive.
Yep, Clive Davis.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to find it in here so that people don't think I'm just saying that.
Just do Control F and type in Clive. Boom, right there. At the right before the ad. Harvard report dash say.
Yeah, here we go. Khan, that's right. You see that? So we speaking about Clive Davis. Now we're gonna go in. We're gonna look at Columbia Records. We're gonna go in. We're gonna look at Clive Davis. All right, and I'm gonna show you some things because we're gonna find out if Kanye is crazy, or we're gonna find out if there is an actual collusion going on here. Now it says Davis has claimed that he never read the Harvard report, though it's clear that he would have been one of the key figures that the authors of the report would have interviewed. And Davis may well have provided them with substantive info regarding the importance of indie labels. Regardless of the source, what the report details is the blueprint for the Black Boutique label. What a Black Boutique label is it's a niche label run by Black people, i.e. the Motowns, i.e. Def Jam, i.e.
Paper Route,
Rockefeller. Yeah, you see what I'm saying? The things that came to be in the years to come, right? Essentially based on a model of what? Neo-colonialism. All right? Somebody's saying it's blurry on their screen. Can you see it clearly on your screen?
Khan, this is just a little small.
All right. Let me try to expand. What about now? Aisha, if you can put a 7, let us know if you can see that now. All right.
If you zoom in a little bit, because I mean we don't need to see the blank white portion on the right. So if you zoom in a little bit, yeah, that's probably better for the system.
All right. So listen, essentially based on a model of neo-colonialism. What is neo-colonialism? Neo-colonialism is this. We know what the original colonialism, the term neo is a stem word, and it's a prefix that means new. So it's basically a new form of colonialism. So when we start dealing with neo-colonialism, we're dealing with things that follow the pattern of colonialism in the world we live in now. It's a new form of that same colonialism.
Mm-hmm.
So when we sit back and say you still in captivity, when we sit back and say these curses are forever, you watching it come true on the page. All right? Look what else it says. Where an imperialist power exploits the raw materials. Now, this is the definition of colonialism. It's where an imperialist power exploits the raw materials and talents of its satellites under the pretense that such satellites are autonomous. Let's make this make sense. If I'm Great Britain, and I come over to a land that has Native Americans, I'm going to take the whole place over. I'm going to force them to produce the crops that I want them to produce to help with what they need on the ground there. I need what I need. So you're going to mainly worry about producing tobacco and cotton, tobacco and cotton, tobacco and cotton. And I'm going to get everything I need from that exchange. And you're going to get some of what you need from that exchange.
Come.
Now, let's keep reading. It says, Norman Kelly observes, in classic colonialism, products were produced in raw periphery and sent back to the imperial motherland to be manufactured into commodities, then sold into metropolitan centers or back to the colony. The outcome of the colony was stunted economic growth, and it was stripped of all its ability to manufacture products for its own needs. So we saw an example of this in Liberia. Liberia is very rich. The soil is very rich, and it's very suitable to farm rubber. So during the late 1800s and the early 1900s, they colonized that land, and they caused it to mainly be used for rubber production. So now, not Firestone, like big companies like Firestone, they got their name based off the rubber they were able to produce in Liberia. But what happened is Firestone became a great company that's still around today. And Liberia is one of the poorest nations on the face of the earth.
That's a fact.
And the reason they're so poor is because they've been producing rubber this whole damn time. And the only people that's benefiting from that is people that don't even live there.
Mm-hmm.
That's what colonialism does. Well, let's look at the music industry. You have so-called Israelites in your community that are geniuses and can make a song from nothing, and you pull that person out the community. That money never makes it back to the community. You suck them dry of all their resources. You own their masters. And then, like Kanye West said, now Stevie Wonder's son got to get the job.
Salakia. I want to bring out a precept, Psalms 137, and I'll do verse 3. For there, they that carried us away captive required of us a song, and they that wasted us required of us of mirth, saying, sing us one of those songs of Zion. So you see right there. Now, if you, I mean, that's a famous chapter. So if you haven't read it, go read it. But if you continue on, it continues to talk about who the chapter is about is the nation of Edom. But bringing it back to that, the last sentence in the green, where it says essentially based on a model of neocolonialism, where an imperialist power exploits the raw materials and the talents. Mm-hmm. So you see right there. So there's a future prophecy that our talents will be exploited in our captivity by the Edomites. And if you read in the beginning of the chapter, it says Babylon. You know what I mean? So in Babylon, the Edomites will be exploiting the talents of the children of Israel, saying, sing, give us, because we know y'all got all the salt. We know y'all got all the juice, and just sprinkle me.
That's right.
And it's happening.
That's right. And it's working. You see what I'm saying? It's working so well. It's working so well that the people that they elevate and they're stealing talents from, they give them enough money to shut up. Mm-hmm. But they don't give them enough money to elevate status and to change the status quo. Mm-hmm. Do you understand? Yep. So this is what we have to be focused on. That's spoiler alert number 1. That's what we need to be focused on right there. All right. Now, let me scroll, get the rest of this. Then I'm going to bring this down, and we're going to hit the rest of that video, and we're going to move on. Actually, before we do that, we're going to look at Clive Davis and Columbia Records. Actually, I think that was all. That was all. All right. But y'all can Google this article. It's just an overview, right? It's called Rhythm and Bull, all right? The Slow Decline of R&B, Part 1, Rhythm and Blues. And this was written back in 2005. This ain't no new stuff. Like, it ain't like they saw what Kanye was saying and wrote this. This was when Kanye was a freshman in the game. You see what I'm saying? So this been going on for a long time. Now, let me show y'all something. In Salakia, because my whenever I try to share my screen, that's when the BS start happening. The Esau know we about to go in. Right? So I want to show you something. Let's look at CBS Records Group. Right? And you can Google this. CBS Records Group. Anybody can do this Google search right now. This ain't no secret information that only I got. All right. Now we're gonna go to Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not a reliable source of information, but it's a good place to start your research. I say that all the time. All right. So guess what? CBS Records International was the international arm of what? Columbia Records. Who's we just reading about? We was just reading about Clive Davis and Columbia Records and Harvard University, right? So when we go here, and this is what I mean by tracing the money back. See, when you trace the money back far enough, you're going to find out who really in control, all right? So let's see. Let's go to Columbia Records. All right, so now we at Columbia Records. Columbia Records is an American record label owned by who? Sony Music. We can click on Sony Music. Sony Music, also known as SME, is an American multinational music company being owned by the parent company, Sony Group Corporation. You see how we just climbing the ladder? Watch this.
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. You're not gonna be surprised, but it's still funny to me. Sony Group Corporation, commonly stylized as Sony, is a Japanese multinational conglomerate corporation. So what I'm showing you right here in this first one, in this first illustration, is that other people in other countries are helping to exploit you. Mm-hmm. Other people in other countries, they have their hand in on what's going in over here more than you do. And you got billionaires and millionaires all throughout the NBA, all throughout the NFL, all throughout the music industry. How come none of us pulled together and said, yo, let's buy these companies that we making our living off of? Right? Mm-hmm. I think somebody came out at one point and said that Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC. You see what I'm saying? Like, and as soon as that happened, old case from 1970 something come out. They've been just holding it the whole time. Yeah, that's how it goes.
Right. Go
ahead.
I mean, this really brings out that Psalms 83, man, because that's right. The other nations, they coming together, and because why? Now we know this is over the music, and what happens? They cancel you once you talk about who you are. You know Correct. What I mean? But as long as you promoting, the wickedness and the sins of Israel that we get into, then they're fine with that. So, they came together, had that crafty counsel against us.
That's right.
This is Psalms 83 personified, literally.
That's right. And we literally watching it come true. And so when people come back and say, oh, man, you're a conspiracy theorist, you damn right. The Bible talks about conspiracy, man. Mm-hmm. Right? Look at this. Everybody know Def Jam, right? Matter of fact, last week we saw a video from Russell Simmons, one of the co-founders of Def Jam. Now we look at Russ like, oh man, he a black man, he owns something, he out here, he doing some things, X, Y, and Z. That's how people look at it. But if you really know what time it is, you know what time it is. Look at this. Def Jam Recordings is a multinational record label owned by who? Universal Music Group. Mm-hmm. All right. Hey, thank you. Not Yahoo. I'm about to say not Yahoo. Not Nayel, right? He said it's not a conspiracy theory if it's backed by evidence, right? It ceases to be a theory when there's evidence to prove the factualness of its nature. Because now it's a fact. So now it's a conspiracy fact.
We're conspiracy identifiers, not theorists.
There you go. I like that term. Look at this. Def Jam Recordings, right? Owned by Universal Music Group. Watch this. Universal Music Group, often abbreviated as UMG, is a Dutch-American multinational music corporation under Dutch law. So guess what that means? That means that they're operating under Dutch penal codes. They're not operating under United States codes. Right. Except for in the instances that they have offices that are ran in the United States and then they do their business that way. But their headquarters is operating on another country's information. So It's already a veil there that you don't understand. Because how many people in the chat speak Dutch? You see what I'm saying? Let's keep reading. It says right here, the biggest music company in the world. It is one of the big three record labels, along with Sony Music, who we just looked up, and Warner Music Group. Now I want to show you something. Now this is what I like to do. You can either it's multiple ways to find out who owns something. If it's a corporation, the best and most reliable way is to Google the shareholders, because this is public information. I don't know if y'all know that. If it's a corporation, it's public information who owns it, right? Because people pay for, they buy stocks. And I'm not going to buy a stock of a company if they're not giving me reliable and transparent information. So it's a law. They have to display that information somewhere, right? Look at this. The owners are right here. There's a guy named Vincent Bolloré. All right. This guy, his net worth was an estimated $9 billion, right? But he owns 28% of the world's biggest record label. And I guarantee you, he don't have your interest in mind, right? Let me show you something else. We making a point. We gotta stack the chips first. All right. Now let's get into Clive Davis. Clive Davis is an American record producer, A&R, record executive, and lawyer. He has won 5 Grammy Awards, blah, 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 right? This is what I want to show you. What year did we say that report came out? 1972. From 1967 to 1973, Davis was the president where? At Columbia Records. Who was responsible for making sure that report came out? Columbia Records in 1972, during the time when he was the president. He was the founder and president of Arista Records after that. You've heard of them. And through 2000 until following J Records, right? Now look at this. This is what I like to show. Davis was born in Brooklyn, New York City to a Jewish family. Don't they always come from a Jewish family? Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? These are not conspiracy theories. And another thing that I was showing earlier was that, another thing I was looking at earlier is that these people are only, so according to studies across the United States, it's only about 5.8 million Jewish people in the United States. That's 2.4% of the United States population. But somehow, some way, when you trace this back, is going back to a Jewish family most of the time, right? And so they call him anti-Semitic for saying that, but it's a fact.
All right.
Right? It's an actual fact. And also another connection, I forgot to point this out, Clive Davis, his alma mater is Harvard Law School. So not only do we have a document that's produced by Columbia Records and Harvard Law School, but during the time he's the president at Columbia Records, this is when they produced the document. Right. Too many connections for me. Right? I don't believe in coincidences like that. There's too many connections. All right. So now that we've seen that, let me show you one more thing.
Like,
right?
You gotta stretch to not make it connect.
Correct. You really do. You gotta try to make it not work. Right? We've all heard of Motown. We know about Berry Gordy. You know what I'm saying? A lot of us Saturday morning, whatever like that. Shoot, regular day for me, I'll be playing Motown. So look, Motown Records, this is where black music really started to just jump and thrive like that, right? And in response to the success of Motown, is partly why that document was created by Harvard and Columbia Records.
Mm-hmm.
Because there was too much money being made over there.
Uh-huh.
But look at this. Look at this. Motown Records is an American record label owned by who? Universal Music Group. They bought it from Berry Gordy back in the 70s because they laid so much red tape down, he couldn't do nothing no more. So he sold the company, you know, which happens too often. That's another spoiler alert. That's another thing we cannot do as a community. We cannot sell our assets outside of the community, man.
Uh-huh.
We doing this too much. It's a pattern. And they know they can do it, so they're going to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Motown Records is an American record label owned by Universal Music Group. It was founded by Berry Gordy, right, on 1958, blah, blah, blah. Then we jump down. We see that the distributor is Capitol Music Group. We already saw that. They said that one way to control your music is through distribution. And then it goes through the whole thing. We don't have to go through it. But y'all know who's on Motown, man. And it's crazy because we lost that. That was something we could have had as a community. All right. Now, hey, so Judah, let's get back into it. Let's hit 850 in that video, and then we're gonna finish that video up real fast.
And Salaki, real quick before you press play, Baba Kasha. When you talk about like stealing our resources that we could have kept, I mean, even if you look at like how Elvis got his entire sound from Roy Hamilton. Everybody know who Elvis is. No, nobody know who Roy is.
Correct.
When his people will tell you, what he did is they allowed him to just take his sound and his swag, his whole everything, and whitewash it, and boom, there you go. There's Elvis. Now he's supposed to be the king. You know what I mean? When had we had that same backing behind us, it wouldn't be no Elvis.
Hey, that's right, man. Because we started all the commotion about that style of music. It's almost like this. I think about it like this. T-Pain came out and did auto-tune. He wasn't the first one on earth to ever do auto-tune, but he was the one who popularized it. And now anybody who follows him, they really kind of owe him a nod. You know what I'm saying? They owe him a nod for that. And when they talk about Elvis, that jump made me sick to my stomach every time, dog.
Right. Because he was also a pedophile. He was a pedophile and incestuous. But that's a whole nother conversation.
I heard he was racist too, but go ahead.
Yes. Yeah. But I mean, he married his 15-year-old cousin.
Sounds about standard.
Yeah. Anyway.
All right, go ahead. 850.
Transition just a little bit, but as it pertains to what you just articulated, and that's hip hop media and just media as a whole. Now we know media is a controlling mechanism that run the masses. I would like to know what you feel as though our representation is when it comes to how our information is disseminated by our people, and what are some ways that we can go and getting that better.
Yeah, it's getting better. You know, when hip hop first started as a genre, because it's not a culture, it's a part of the greater African American culture. It is a music genre that's a part of the culture, like jazz was and rhythm and blues was, and it's one of the most powerful, because people don't really see what hip hop really was. Imagine, up until hip hop, we had access to music schools and high school and junior high. We had access to all kinds of music programs and drum and bugle corps. Something happened after the 60s, and they decided we got to cut them off from the music. Somebody realized that if we can control the music, we can control the behavior of the young Black community. Because it's the young Black community that was marching with Dr. King. Yeah, he had a few elder brothers and sisters with him, but the 90% of those people following Dr. King, they were teenagers. It was teenagers that made up the Black Panther Party. It was teenagers and young adults that made up the Republic of New Africa. It was young adults and teens that made up the Black Liberation Army. Somebody saw that and they had to figure out, wait a minute, how do we control the propaganda? How do we control the information that's influencing that behavior?
Hey, put a 7 in the chat if you can hear that, Salaki, because I was still on mute. So put a 7 in the chat if y'all can hear what was going on just then. Could y'all brothers hear it?
Yeah, I could hear it.
All right, y'all in the chat, put a 7 in there. All right, y'all can hear it. All right, I'm gonna replay off of mute just to make sure everything is still good. All right, and y'all can let me know. Just say yeah, we can hear it once I restart.
So they cut us off from the music. Think back and remember when they took music out of schools.
Okay, come on. Let me go back on mute.
Bands off the streets, took the drum and bugle corps out of the Haru and all the other places around the country. Like, damn, it happened almost overnight by 1970. And then something happened. The spirit, the ancestors, and the gods of African people showed the black youth how to take his tongue and his palate and create a music without instrument. You know how friggin' phenomenal that is?
Yeah.
So we're gonna pause it because he's gonna get into some idolatry right there, right?
I was about to say, yeah, he going
But
on.
we acknowledge that the Most High God did that.
Right.
So, you know what I mean? We're gonna just leave it at that. We ain't gonna let him stick his foot in his mouth. Like Adawan said, he talked too long, he gonna go off.
Mm-hmm.
But I want to show you something, right? So, hey, pull up the Crazy Bone video. So now that we see, you know, we kind of stacking some straws right now. We ain't really made the point just yet. So basically what I'm showing you is that, number one, you have the power to do the research, find who is in control of which companies. And you can actually go back and trace the dollars and find out who owns these places and who controls these places. It's not really that hard to do. The thing is, they count on you not doing it, right? So he's going to break down now that, and he's reading a book. He's reading either a book or a letter or something like that. I can't remember what he's reading, but it's not fake. It's like all over the place. And so when he reads it, he's going to break it down. I'm going to let him do that, and then we're going to go into the next section.
And that music now.
So wrong video, my bad.
Letter is the secret meaning that changed rap music and destroyed a generation. Damn.
Hey, any echo? Y'all can hear that clearly?
No lies, no echo.
Yeah, it's good.
Come.
So it says, hello. After more than 20 years, I finally decided to tell the world what I witnessed in 1991, which I believe was one of the biggest turning points in popular music and ultimately American society. I have struggled for a long time weighing the pros and cons of making my story public, as I was reluctant to implicate the individuals who were present that day. So I've simply decided to leave out the names and all the details that may risk my personal well-being and that of those who were, like me, dragged into something they weren't ready for. Damn. Hold on, let me
So we gonna tell a story.
We gonna tell a story. We ain't scared.
You know what I'm saying? What they gonna do?
They after us, not scared.
Look, like man.
So look. So he says, between the late 80s and early 90s, I was what you may call a decision maker with one of the more established companies in the music industry. I came to Europe in the early 80s and quickly established myself in the business. The industry was different back then, since technology and media weren't accessible to people like that, like they are today.
Hey, fast forward about 30 seconds.
Over the public and had the business insiders to discuss rap music's new direction. Rap music's new direction.
Yeah.
Little did I know we would be asked to participate in one of the most unethical and destructive business practices ever seen.
Crazy.
So this was the meeting. The meeting was held at a private residence on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I remember about 25 to 30 people were being there.
Right.
Most of them familiar faces. Speaking of those I knew, we joked about the theme of the meeting, as many of us did not care for rap and failed to see the purpose of being invited to a private meeting to discuss the future of hip hop.
Talk to you.
Among the attendees was a small group of unfamiliar faces who stayed to themselves and made no attempt to socialize beyond their circle. Based on their behavior and formal appearances, they didn't seem to be from our industry. Our casual chatter was interrupted when we were asked to sign a confidentiality agreement preventing us from publicly discussing the information presented during the meeting. Needless to say, this intrigued, in some cases, disturbed many of us. The agreement was only a page long, but very clear on matters and consequences, which stated that violating the terms would result in job termination immediately. We asked several people what this meeting was about and the reason for such secrecy, but could not find anyone who had the answers for us. A few people refused to sign and walked out. Nobody stopped them. I was tempted to follow, but curiosity got the best of me.
That's right.
A man who was part of the unfamiliar group collected all the agreements from us. So now it's going to get to the good part because the meeting about to start.
Talk to him, Jake.
It says, quickly after the meeting began, hold on one second.
Get your popcorn, y'all.
Popcorn, get your pistol, no sweat.
Real now.
Quickly after this meeting began, one of the industry colleagues, who shall remain nameless like everybody else, thanked us for attending. He then gave the floor to a man who only introduced himself by first name and gave no other details about his personal background. I think he was the owner of the residence, but that was never confirmed. He briefly praised all of us for the success we had achieved in our industries and congratulated us for being selected as part of this small group of decision makers. At this point, I began to feel slightly uncomfortable and the strangeness of this gathering. The subject quickly changed as the speaker went on to tell us that the respective companies we represented had invested in a very profitable industry, which could become even more rewarding with our active involvement. He explained that the companies we worked for had invested millions into the building of privately owned prisons, and that our positions of influence in the music industry would actually impact the profitability of these investments. Then he says, I remember many of us in the group immediately looking at each other in awe and confusion. At the same time, I didn't know what a private prison was, but I wasn't the only one. Sure enough, someone asked what these prisons were and what any of this had to do with music. We were told that these prisons were built by privately owned companies who received funding from the government based on the number of inmates. The more inmates, the more the government would pay these prisons. It was also made clear to us that since these prisons are privately owned, as they become publicly traded, we'd be able to buy shares. Most of us were taken back by this. Again, a couple of people asked what this had to do with us. At this point, my industry colleague who had first opened the meeting took the floor again and answered our questions.
Hey, he almost done.
He told us that since our employees had become silent investors in this prison business, it was now in their interest to make sure that these prisons remain filled. Our job would be to help make this happen by making music which promote criminal behavior, rap being the music of choice. He assured us that this would be a great situation for us because rap music was becoming an increasingly profitable market for our companies. And as employees, we'd also be able to buy stocks in these prisons. Immediately, silence came over the room. You could have heard a pin drop.
Hey, so basically, long story short, right? Because it was a long story. But basically, at some point in time, now there are people, let's be fair, there are people who say that this letter or this document is a fake. But I'm going to show you something, because like I said, I don't believe in coincidences. I'm going to show you a group of things that lead me to believe it cannot be fake. All right? So let's take a look. Now, I want to say this, because we have heard this said. We have heard this said that Michael Jordan owned stock in prisons, and I ain't gonna lie to you, I was going in like when I heard that, I was like, "Oh nah, bump
It's a
that."
different one.
Right.
But it's a different Michael Jordan.
It's an Edomite.
Caucasian Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it's not the Michael Jordan who's so all praises. Hopefully that brother is still, whatever. All right.
Hey, let me say something on that point, Salaki. My bad. Just on that, because a lot of things us as Israelites, you know what I'm saying? Once we find out we've been lied to forever, we take things, we run with it.
Yeah.
Because that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? He part of the elitists. You know what I'm saying? And we got to start that, all of us. Because I was the same way. Yo, Jordan, he from prison. And I stopped buying J's the whole nine. Like, you know what I'm saying? But we got to do a better job because we got to be responsible with our words. Especially as teachers, we got to be responsible with our words and fact check things before we go out and just go on a tangent. You know what I'm
Responsible
saying?
scholars.
The most I might call that brother in, and then now y'all, all of us is on his neck. You from prison, this brother like, yo, these niggas is crazy because I ain't never. You feel me? So we gotta start being responsible with our fact checking.
Facts, and that's right. It's responsible scholarship. All right. That's why I wanted to preface what I'm about to show you with it has been said that what Crazy Bone was just reading is false or is fabricated. But let's trace the money back. Let's follow the patterns of the industry and see if it was fabricated. All right? Because whether or not that meeting happened exactly how it was written, that meeting happened. You know what I mean? Like it happened. So let's go into it. Let me show you my screen real fast. All right. Once again, I'm showing y'all a little bit of how you can trace back these things on your own. Teaching you how to fish. So all I did was Google. And I confirmed all of these things before I did the class, but you are free to go back and confirm them again. So right here it says biggest private prisons in the United States. So I want to start there. Let's start somewhere broad, right? Most privately run facilities are located in southern and western portions of the United States and include both state and federal offenders. For example, Pecos, Texas is the site of the largest private prison in the world, Reeves County Detention Complex. Now that's important to know because they house immigrants of our brethren from the Northern Kingdom, and they house felons from the Southern Kingdom. Right? Hey, Judah, you might have to share this because my computer is being slow again.
All right, Con, we're looking up Core Civic on Wikipedia.
Yep, Core Civic.
Salaki, can I read the precept while you bring it up?
Yeah, you got it. Go ahead.
Con, this is the book of Isaiah, chapter 42 and verse 22. And it reads, "But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes, and they are hid in prison houses. They are for a prey, and none delivereth, for a spoil, and none saith restore." So you see that? Let's break it down how, we would be hidden in prison houses and made like we're preyed upon, and we're in holes in the snare. So they're literally hunting us like what's that? Micah said they hunt our that's Lamentations said they hunt our steps, and
that's
they're putting snares up so they can hide us away in prison houses and not restore us or bring us back.
This is why we don't see reparations. They will. That's the precept right there that shows you we will never get reparations. None say restore.
We're gonna have to take them reparations.
You got to, because reparations are supposed to restore you back to where you were before whoever did whatever to you, and it's supposed to give interest because of what you could have built upon that while they had you in that captivity. So Americans can never repay. So get that out of your mind. All right, but here you go. Can y'all see this real good?
Yeah, it's good on my side.
Okay, con.
All right. So what you're looking at right here is the name of the company who owns Reeves Correctional Facility, right? The place we were just looking at. Now, it says it was formerly known as Corrections Corporation of America. It's a company that owns and manages private prisons and detention centers and operates others on a concession basis, right? Now, scroll down. I want to get down really quick. Scroll. All right, stop right there. Go back up where it says assets on the right-hand side. Okay, you see this? It says total assets. They have over $3 billion in assets, $1 billion in equity, right? And their revenue is over $1 billion. This is one company in the prison industrial complex. They're making millions of dollars off of you right now. Also including immigrants, because there have been many lawsuits listed on that page that we're looking at. There have been many lawsuits, and you can fact check them, that have gone against this company for forced labor. Because what they do is they put you in a prison, then they make you work for 10 cents an hour, right, and then they get the rest of the proceeds from that. Right. So we got to think about what's going on here. We looking at real life slavery, man. Like 13th Amendment, like the brother y'all were all said.
And what's messed up is that they don't even allow you to, like when you get out of prison, they don't allow you to use that as an experience. Like for instance, a lot of time, I know in California, they'll send you to fire camps. You know what I mean? They make you put out fires and fight the fires. However, when you get out of that, you cannot go be a firefighter and be like, man, I got experience doing this. You know what I mean? That doesn't count.
Correct. You see how they do that? Because they'll hit you with that. Hey, you got that F on your report card, man.
Bingo.
You got that F on your report card. You can't vote. You can't get certain jobs. You damn sure not gonna get a GOV job. You can hang that up. So yeah, they got you. All right. Now, I want you to back out of that. Judah, I'm making you do a lot of work. My fault. Back out of that and type in Core Civic shareholders. Now we're about to find out what's going on. We're going to dig a little bit. Because we all got to know how to do this. And this is important groundwork to understanding what we need to do to build our own stuff. Because what I'm about to show you is how they built their stuff. Hit that first hyperlink right below where it says more rows. 2 more rows. Or yeah, just hit that. Yep, there you go. Now, make that a little bit bigger. Yep, there you go. Now scroll down, and we're going to look at the top shareholders. Keep going. Okay, top 10 owners of Core Civic. Y'all see that? I want everybody that's in this chat. This is a must do. This is a damn command. Write these names down, bro. Write these names down. All right. And I'm looking at it on my phone as well. And I'm going to show you the ones that you must know. The first one, BlackRock Fund Advisors. You have to know that. Fidelity Management. Guess what? If you got a job and you got benefits, you might be dealing with Fidelity. Right? The Vanguard Group. You got to know that. She says she can't see them. If you can scroll in just a little bit more. Yeah, and what may have to happen. And I forgot to tell you, I got the links, some of these links at the bottom, all right, in the description section. So you having a hard time or whatever like that. The Vanguard Group, did I say that one? SSGA Funds Management, you got to know that one. Geode Capital, you got to know that one. All right. Now, remember, we started this journey off by typing in the top private-owned prison companies, right? The companies are, the biggest companies in that realm. The next one is a company called Well, before we do that, let's go to the Vanguard group. So back out of that and Google Vanguard group shareholders. I'm gonna show y'all something, man. Y'all see, we not playing the game right. That's why I want to show you this. Israel not playing the darn game right, man. If we knew this back when they opened the Freedmen's Bank, and stole millions of dollars from enslaved people. If we knew this back then, we would have opened our own bank, put our money in there, and cross-invested in each other. That's what they're doing. They're cross-investing in each other. You're going to see it. Look at this. Who owns the Vanguard group? Tell me it's not the same people that was on the last list. It's the same people who was on the last list. You know what this means? This means that if Adawan Eliel got a business, I should be invested in that business. Aharon should be invested in that business. Judah should be invested in that business. If Judah got a business, Adawan Eliel should be invested in that business. Aharon should be invested in that business. I should be invested in that, and so forth and so on until we all eating.
It's like a susu.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
That's how they eat, man. They make sure they eat.
I tell you that them BlackRock, they code with like the consultant and money management. I know some people connected to them.
Yeah,
they got stupid money.
They stupid. Yo, go now back out of that, and we're gonna look up SSGA. I'm gonna show you something. SSGA. You can't type in SSGA. Well, you can. Type in State Street Bank and just do that. And let's start from there. State Street Bank Incorporated or something like that. Right? Let me Google it so I can tell you exactly what to type in.
State Street. Yeah, that's a good financial institution.
Yep. Oh, it's past good.
Yeah, they do.
It's past good. I ain't know this till today. It's past good.
Oh,
that's right. I don't want. They circulate their money.
Mm-hmm.
You see that? It don't. And that's the thing about it. When you have institutions in place, you can circulate your money like this because they don't need to come to you for nothing. That's how it was when we had the Black Wall Streets. You see what I'm saying? Because everybody went to the same tailor. Everybody went to the same barber. Everybody went to the same damn, whatever. And now it's in a situation where they integrated us only to take from our buying power, but they don't support us. They don't support our businesses. They don't patronize our businesses.
And Salakia, this goes back to that documentary, Selling the Negro, that was created in 1954. Yes.
That's right.
You might as well put that in the chat if somebody could put that in the chat, Baba Kashab.
Yeah, y'all put that in there. It's by the Johnson Company, Johnson and Johnson or something, right? Something like that.
Yeah, just type in "Selling the Negro 1954." It's a documentary, basically with Esau going into this saying, "Listen, they got all this buying power. They deal with themselves. However, this is how we can get them to start buying from us and start taking their dollar."
Correct. Hey, go now, Judah. Right at the end of that, type in shareholders. Watch this. Right? Yep, hit that one. Y'all look at this.
Bingo.
Vanguard Group, BlackRock, SSGA, Geo, all the way down. See what I'm saying? They know what they doing. Look, Columbia Management. Look at that. Most High put that nugget in there for us, man. So now go back. I want you to go to the Wikipedia page of State Street. I'm doing this on purpose, Israel. It's kind of painful, but we gotta do this because we don't think like this. When my brother got an album coming out, you know what I do? Dang, man, my album coming out this week. Damn, this brother about to drop his jump before me. That's what we do. You know what they do? They co-market. They market it, you know what I'm saying? They come out with some co-marketing plan and then they push it together, man. we gotta get out of that mentality. That's the only way. All right. So look at this. First of all, look at the thing. It's a ship. It's like one of them old colonial ships.
Mm-hmm.
Now read it from the. It says, hold on, I'm gonna pull it up.
I'll read it for you.
I'll show y'all something. This is not by accident. Come on, go ahead.
All right. It says State Street Corporation is an American financial services and bank holding company headquartered at 1 Lincoln Street in Boston with operations worldwide.
Come on.
It is the second oldest continually operating United States bank. Its predecessor, Union Bank, was founded in 1792. State Street is ranked 15th on the list of largest banks in the United States by assets. It is one of the.
Now jump all the way down. I want you to jump down to the last sentence on that paragraph.
Come on. Along with BlackRock and Vanguard, State Street is considered to be one of the big three index fund managers that dominate corporate America.
There you go. So now you see where they put the mask on that. Now we can drop all of that. We can drop all of that. We can get into the scriptures a little bit, deal with what we need to do, right? But that's how they put their mask on, so they don't have to show you all their cards.
Mm-hmm.
So when you go and look it up, you tracing the dollars back, you end up at a big State Street bank. Oh, okay, well, the bank owns it. Well, who getting paid?
All right.
See what I'm saying?
All right.
How much money is State Street Bank putting into lobbying in Washington? These are things that you got to know, because they've created a full web of a system that works only for them.
All right. You just got to follow the money too.
You follow that money and you're going to find it every time.
Bingo.
That's why Charlemagne and Hot 97 and Rosenberg and all them, that's why they going so hard against Kanye, because if you follow the dollars, who owns Revolt Media? You see what I'm saying? Who owns, it's easy. It makes sense. It ain't no theory. It makes sense. All right.
All right.
Now let's get into it. All right, let's finish this up. Let's bring it to a close. These are the things we need to be able to do as a community. Let's get Exodus 23:2 and Proverbs 17:15, right? Number one, we gotta stop supporting these companies financially, especially the ones that are invested in our destruction.
That's right. I got Exodus.
We have to do that. That's not too much to ask, but you know what? For us, we love Nike so much. We love Adidas so much. We can't step away. Jake don't even love Adidas like that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We don't really mess with Adidas. Run DMC. Yo, if you look at the biggest advertisers for Adidas has always been Jake.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Mm-hmm.
Kawhi
Leonard, James Harden,
I think
Run DMC.
Was it Damian Lillard? I think he got an Adidas contract, right?
Not Dame. Maybe he do, but Donovan Mitchell.
Okay, yeah.
Donovan Mitchell got them. He got them Crayolas, man.
And let's keep it real, right? Adidas. Other than the Adidas suits, I'll give them that.
Yeah,
Adidas is trash.
Yeah, facts.
Yo, baseball. You go to turf shoes.
Go hard.
Nobody wants no Adidas turf shoes in baseball. Okay, they're trash.
Yeah.
You know your school is whack, and they don't got no money. They give you some Adidas turf shoes.
They got Adidas on. Your basketball team is worse.
Oh, yeah.
They got Adidas on.
You know them. They had that one shoe that everybody was wearing in like 06, 07. The whole basketball team had them joints on. Them patent leather Adidas joints. But Yeezy kept Adidas alive.
Yeah.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
Them Yeezys was the only thing that kept Adidas alive.
Right.
So now they're trying to sell the shoe without the name. And as Aharon showed,
Hey,
Feel
and
me?
you know what? I believe the New York Giants wear Adidas, man. But you know,
Well,
that's on another level. So anyway, y'all don't
It's not
fact check
shouldn't
that.
be the Cowboys.
I think it's the
Don't
Cowboys.
fact check that. All right, scratch that out now. But on a serious note, if we stop supporting them, right? We not only doing something politically and economically, but we doing something biblically. Read that.
God, this is the book of Exodus, chapter 23, verse 2. Thou shalt not follow a multitude to do evil, neither shalt thou speak in a cause to decline after many to wrest judgment.
Hey, you are following a multitude to do evil when you financially support an unethical company. According to knowledge, it's possible to do it unaccording to knowledge, right? And it's also I gotta put a caveat on that. You know, don't be over righteous, because if we do enough research, we're gonna find out that you can't buy nothing. So let me backtrack just a little bit, but at the same time, you have to make a conscious decision. Like, yo, I cannot support Adidas now. I cannot, because of what they doing. I cannot support Balenciaga, man.
Nah, never could support them ugly shoes.
Yeah, I never was feeling it. Like people getting the
them
t-shirts.
is Skechers.
Yeah, that's what it is, bro.
Yeah.
Upscale Skechers.
Huh.
You know what I mean? So, all right, that was the first thing. Let's get that Proverbs 17.
All right, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 17, and verse 15. He that justifieth the wicked, and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord.
Yo, I ain't trying to be an abomination, man. I can't justify. I can't sit back and make a reason where you know, the shell toes. I can't give up the shell toe. It's like, yo, you gotta be able to make a damn stand. This is why they able to exploit you on every level. Black man, Israelite man, Hispanic man, Native American man. This is why they're able to exploit you on every level. Because they can just do anything they want, come out with a new campaign. Watch what I tell you. Adidas is going to come out with a new campaign that proves that they love black people. Watch. It's going to come out of nowhere. They're going to come out with it soon. Because they got to prove now that it wasn't race that inspired that. Because everybody calling it card. Because, yo, why you ain't say nothing when he said something about Harriet Tubman? Mm-hmm. Why you ain't pull your deal then when he said Harriet Tubman ain't free the slaves? So now they got to prove it. Now they got to go out and go to the other extreme to overcompensate.
And look, in Salakia, how many sponsors did Brett Favre lose?
I don't even know if he lost no sponsors. I have to look that up. That's a good question. And you see, Brett Favre was their golden boy for the longest. Brett Favre was almost like Peyton Manning of the last generation.
Or
I would say like John Elway, Dan Marino was the Tom Brady, but Brett Favre was up there.
Or even Ben Roethlisberger when he had all that stuff going on. Did he lose?
That man was a whole rapist out here.
Yeah. Right.
You're a white quarterback, you can do that, but you better not kill no dogs. You better not fight no dogs.
Well, don't be Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. Don't do that. Deshaun Watson probably finished now, man. It's like when you pull a pro athlete out of their prime and you separate them from the game for that amount of time, it's never going to be the same because everybody else still moving up that ladder, and now you got to jump back in and catch up.
Except for if you Bo Jackson, because then you could just hop around and come back and do it.
Right. Unless you Mike, you come back wearing a 4.5. You know what I mean? But hey, it is what it is. So let's get this next one. The next key thing we got to do to make sure that we can empower ourselves as a community is don't give these companies a reason or the ability to exploit you. Right? And that happens because we don't have our own publishing. We don't have our own publishing company. So which one of y'all watching this video gonna be the first publisher? Which one of y'all watching this video gonna be the first distributor? Everybody don't gotta be a damn rapper. We got enough rap. We need somebody with distributing powers. We need somebody with with engineering abilities. We need these people in the community. We don't need no more rappers. That's for real.
Cool.
All right. So look, check this out. This is a great example. I don't smoke tobacco products. I hate that they have a tobacco shop in my neighborhood, but they got the best prices on the incense. They got the long incense sticks. So I go there to get the incense stick. But this is the thing that's counterproductive. It would make more sense for me to travel across town and buy it from somebody who's not selling drugs to my community. Them CBDs and them bongs and bowls and stuff in there. Like, they want your people to smoke weed. Like, you don't see that?
They make it easy. Just
They make
whatever
it
you need.
Yo, they don't card you. They don't be carding you. Like, some of them things you supposed to be 18, they don't be carding you. You got a little beard coming in, they're not carding you. They don't care. You be 16, they don't care. So we have to step up and say, I'm not going there. I'm not patronizing that establishment. I will buy it off Amazon first. Before I go, I'll wait the 3 days. Because the thing is, we cannot make it easy or available for them to do that to us. That's why they can't. You cannot go into the Chinatown in San Francisco or in New York City. You can't go there and think you about to open up a damn hip hop shop and sell mixtapes, man. Number one, they're gonna look at you like you're stupid. Number two, you're not even gonna be able to afford the retail space. And then number three, nobody buying nothing from you. You just lost that money.
Right.
So why you don't move like that, right? Next thing we got to do, the brother said it earlier, we got to be intellectually consistent. Let's get Deuteronomy 4:6, and the other brother get Zechariah 8:23.
Let's look at Deuteronomy chapter 4 and verse 6. And it reads, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom and your understanding in the sight of the nations, which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this great nation is a wise and understanding people.
Hey, we can't wait until the rest of Jake and Eve decide to do this. They never gonna decide to do it. You gotta lead the way. You gotta do it first. Hey, brother, it's a tobacco shop right there. Where you going? Where you going? I'm going to the other side of town to get my stuff, because that's what I do. Then you got the chance to break it down while you do that. Right? Lead the way. The other nations the other people supposed to look at you and say, man, this dude wise, man. Ever since he started keeping them commandments, man, it's something about this dude. You supposed to move like that. All right, get that Zechariah.
How you said Zechariah 8 and what?
23.
This is the book of Zechariah, chapter 8 and verse 23. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, in those days it shall come to pass that 10 men shall take hold out of all languages of the nations, even shall take hold of the skirt of him that is a Jew, saying, we will go with you, for we have heard that God is with you.
Hey, you see that? And really, that says 10 men out of all the nations. We know this in end-time prophecy is talking about the other nations coming to be in subservitude to the Israelites, right? Mm-hmm. But let's take that and think about it. They got to know that God is with you. God ain't going to be with you if you still willingly choose to patronize the damn Indian shop because he got the best prices on incense, man. He's not going to support that decision because these people are there to destroy you. The Most High don't care if you got to spend $5 extra to go across town. Like, I can't sit here and teach you. I'm not saying that you got to research every single company you buy from. I'm not saying that. But the things that are blatantly obvious, you got to take a stand, man. Yeah. And it gotta be seen. I'm gonna let you go. It gotta be obvious to the naked eye that you moving in accordance with what the Most High would want you to do. Go ahead.
So like I was gonna say, the saying goes, either you stand for something or you fall for anything.
That's right. That's right. You got to make a stand, man. You cannot wait on our counterparts in the world to do what they never gonna do. All right. The next one is we got to build community institutions and infrastructure. An institution is something that allows the operations to keep going. So, for instance, libraries, schools. I'm pretty sure we got people in Israel who are talented with their abilities to homeschool their children. And matter of fact, it might be some women who used to be public school teachers. Now they homeschool, and now they have the ability to create a curriculum for homeschool. Why not share that ability with the community? For people who think that it's too hard and they can't do it, you can line that up and set that path for somebody else. Right? We have to put these things in place. Right? We have to forge alliances. Listen, this is the hardest part to teach right here. So I gotta be careful. This is the hardest part to teach. Do you think that these small hats sit back and say, "Oh, you don't read the Mishnah? We're not supporting you"? You know what happens if you speak against Jimmy Iovine and you say he not Jewish and you say he didn't do this and that and the third? The whole Jewish community coming down on you. The entire community, the people with the black hats, people with the curly sideburns, the people doing that weird dance where they be leaning down, kicking their feet up real high. Mm-hmm. Everybody coming against you. But guess what? With Israelites, that brother wear fringes on his pants. I ain't supporting him. I'm not standing up for him. All right. That's the type of mentality we got. We have to forge alliances. And it's a political move. It ain't necessarily got to be on a doctrinal level, but damn, we can't just come together and say, yo, you an Israelite, I'm an Israelite. High five. You see what I'm saying? These are the principles that's going to lift us up and allow us to build something that'll be sustainable. Yo, shout out to the brother Divine Prospect, right? Divine Prospect talks about building culture, autonomous culture within your captivity. Mm-hmm. And he calls it a little Goshen. Right. That's what we got to be doing. That's what we got to be working towards. I'm not saying that you're going to elevate yourself above your neighbors in the land of captivity. I'm not saying this is your rest. I'm saying, why not be smart?
Salaki, can I read that Zephaniah?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the book of Zephaniah, chapter 2 and verse 1. Gather yourselves together. Yeah. Gather together, O nation not desired. So, I mean, the whole context is that don't nobody like you. So gather together and help one another. You know what I mean? That's what we're supposed to do. It don't say all those of the Essene sect or the Pharisee sect or that. No, gather, oh nation. So the nation is supposed to gather together.
That's right. That's right. And you know what's heavy about what you just said? We had multiple sects in the pages of the Bible that locked hands when the Romans came through. When the Romans came through, the Pharisees and the Sadducees was probably right beside each other, shaking their head like, dang, man, they're killing our people. They couldn't figure out the doctrinal thing and get on the same page with the doctrinal thing, but we know that the scripture says that the watchman will see eye to eye when the Lord bring again Zion. Right. So we not supposed to see eye to eye on everything, but it's certain things we gotta see eye to eye on. We have to see eye to eye on this, if nothing else. Right? If something happens, God forbid something happens, and somebody who's in the truth has a tragedy, a cop shoot him or something like that, I expect to see every Israelite there. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't expect, them brothers, they was in this camp, they was in that camp, so we don't deal with them. It's like, we gotta see past that. All right? I'm gonna get one more precept and I'm gonna stop it right there. All right, because we made the point. Let's get Proverbs 11 and 21. And what I want y'all to take from this is this: these other nations are not sitting back waiting on all of them to have the same religious doctrine before they can start moving forward. And guess what? If you look back in history, we wasn't doing that. We was standing side by side with the Moors. Look up Queen Kahina, right? We was standing side by side with the Moors some of them times when these heathens was coming through and trying to slaughter our people, man. In Portugal, Spain, things like that. We have stories in the New Testament where, or not in the New Testament, in the Old Testament, and especially in the Apocrypha, where we made a league with the heathen, we could stay alive. Like, these things is real, man. Right? So we got to be crafty in this thing. We got to be as wise as serpents, but as harmless as doves. All right, go ahead.
Come, this is the book of Proverbs, chapter 11, verse 21. Though hand join in hand, the wicked shall not be unpunished.
Hey, we gotta leave on that note, man. Because look, no matter what type of collusion, what type of confederacy, what type of conspiracy these heathens come up with, hey, we know that Israel's gonna rise, man, and we know that the Most High God is gonna have the last say so. So the only thing we can do is try to make it as smooth as we can in this captivity for ourselves and for our children, and make it to where they have a culture that they can live in and not get killed and not get murdered and not get, you know what I'm saying, thrown away in some cage somewhere, man. All right. They're gonna get theirs, but while they getting theirs, we still need to be planning on how to get ours. All right. So I'm gonna leave it right there. I appreciate y'all, man.
Oh, there we go. All right, beautiful class, excellent class by the brother. Hey, man, you know, sometimes I think about it, but there's only 53 people on a class like this. This is the people that are supposed to receive that information.
Yeah, that's right.
Some valuable information that was in there, and I don't even get mad no more. Like, it's like, all right, those are the people, man's going to the Lord. Those are the people that were supposed to receive that information. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people like folly. We was talking about some BS. There'll be 153 people in there. So I'm not even tripping no more. You know what I'm saying? I'm not even tripping. The people who were supposed to receive it, they received it. And, you know, from the comments, like, they're appreciative of the information. So we're going to continue to teach for the people, you know, for the people that want it. So with that, we are the sons of Thunder Israelites. It's our heart's prayer and desire that all Israel be saved. Shalom.
Shalom.